Welcome to the Giving Hope podcast. I'm so glad you're here. This is so exciting.
I'm so happy to be here. This is so fun. And this is like my first time doing anything like this. So, for warning, if you hear noises, my birds, my mom, her friend, it's a Spanish household, so there's a lot of craziness going on in the background. So just want to warn you on that. I think I did mention that when you asked me. I'm like, it can be so crazy in my house, and you're like, it's fine. It's gonna be fine.
Yes, because I
So
just interviewed Tracy Schaefer, and she has 10 kids. And so, whenever she was in the middle of her interview, her son came up, which you're going to hear this Saturday. Her son came up, he was like, Mom, 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 can I have something to drink? And I was like, Do you want me to?
oh my gosh.
I was like, Do you want me to edit that? And she was like, No, don't worry about it. And I was like,
No.
Okay, good.
It's
Because
mom life.
right. It's just life. Everybody has, I mean, dogs are in the background. I mean, Ryan sometimes walks behind me whenever I'm recording. He's like, sorry, sorry, sorry.
That's funny. That is
Oh,
hilarious.
goodness.
But
Oh,
yeah.
I have my
So we're
heater on.
good. I'm excited.
Yes, me too. I am extremely excited. I wanted to chat with you because you and I, for those of you who don't know, Kirsy and I, we met on Instagram, and we've been friends now for I think 3 years, 3 or 4 years now. It's gone
Yeah.
flown by because it was like during the pandemic, I think, that we became friends. And
Yeah.
we've just clicked. Now we're a part of a group of warrior sisters that pray for each other, that love each other through just highs and lows of just life. We've prayed for our parents, we've prayed for our children, we've prayed for our marriages. And but Kirsy and I have connected because one, we have the same sense of humor about a lot of things. And we have and
I know, right?
we, we clicked immediately. One, I think we look like sisters. I think we
We
could
do.
pass as relatives.
We do. I seriously, I was gonna say you don't have your curly hair today because not only are we warrior sisters in Christ, but we're curly hair sisters,
We are. Yes,
and we look like sisters.
we do. We do. We do. And I love that so much. And I wanted her to get on here
Me
because
too.
one of the things that we have clicked about is just the world right now and the importance of sharing real gospel
Hmm.
because it is so imperative that
Yeah.
we talk about truth because too many people are sugarcoating the truth in order to gain followers.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to love people, yes, be gentle, kind, because that's the fruit of the spirit. But we should also be very honest and stand our ground and not back down from what Jesus says is the standard of Christianity, not my personal standard, not my cultural standard, but what Jesus says is the standard. So I'm going to pick your brain. So, what are your thoughts about some things that have come up? What are some things that have been weighing heavy on your heart here lately, especially with all the stuff that's been going around?
I mean, all the stuff that has been going around is just so overwhelming, isn't it? And like that's that this is where like our discernment has to be always like on point,
Yes.
and pray to God because there's so much deception going on. And one of the biggest deceptions right now, that one that I feel, and I don't have kids, but I have nieces and nephews, and it's all this gender fluidity, this gender um yeah, I have nieces and nephews, and like the propaganda is so huge on them right now to believe these things that are not biblical. And like the push is from media, from every angle, social media, the school system. And that is just so concerning. And now it's very unpopular to go against that grain, but we have to stand firm. And that's one of my concerns among so many others.
Yeah, it is. It is getting to the point now where it's almost comical, where you look at things like, did you really just say that? Did you
Mhm.
really just do that? Is this real life? I heard this one person say, I
Mhm.
feel like I've been yeeted into an alternative reality where up is down and down is up and frontwards is backwards and backwards is frontwards. That this isn't what we grew up with at all.
Oh, not at all. Like it's just such a different world, right?
Mhm.
From the one I we grew up, and that's why we always see now in like Instagram, like this whole nostalgic thing popping up,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
back in our days, like how we used to play outside, drink water from the hose, like
yeah,
leave the bikes outside, and those things, like this nostalgia that now our generation hungers for, the simplicity that this generation will never have a taste of, you know,
mhm,
and it's just so sad in that sense.
yeah,
But you know, this is when us and like parents, we have to stand firm and like try to bring back that simplicity to the
mhm,
kids, right?
mhm,
Whether you're a parent or an aunt, an uncle or grandma. And those are things that kids are going to treasure, you
right.
know?
Yeah, yeah, they are. They are for sure. I think that that is the crux of it. That is what people don't really realize, how much power we actually have to control what's going on. Turn off the TV, put down the iPad, and
Hmm.
pick up a puzzle, coloring book, go be
Hmm.
creative, build something, enjoy each other's time.
Yeah.
Remember your kids' laughter and make memories. It is so imperative because the enemy wants us distracted. The enemy wants us living in a bubble that he can control
Yeah.
instead of something that we control,
Hmm.
you know?
Exactly. It's so true. He wants to take our power, like our God-given power.
Mhm.
And this is when we have to like stand firm in every area, in every angle, like even from the things that we allow to like our eyes to see, like the things we consume on social media, and it's gonna pop up. It's gonna pop up,
For
but
sure.
are we gonna entertain it? you know and
Mm.
that's where we have to like stand firm on that
Yes, always.
and have discernment.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people understand how much
Always, I
discernment
think
they have.
that's one of, yes, oh my gosh, because it's so easy to believe so many lies if you're not on your game, in a sense, like if you're not really um analyzing things and like, okay, I can watch this video about this new thing, and I'm like, okay, but what does God say? What does the Bible say? And that's my standard, and that's what I'm gonna follow,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
because there's just so much that wants to infiltrate
Mhm.
and like wants to deter us, from the truth.
Mhm. Yeah. I think there's going to come a
Hmm.
time where people are going to have to make the really, really hard choices of walking away from people that they are familiar with and things
Hmm.
is become such a custom to them. I know there was a season
Hmm.
years ago that we took all the televisions out of our house. Of course, we have this building. Do you see my flamingo that I got? Do you
I
see?
see your flamingo.
Okay,
Which,
so
by the way, I thought I would be seeing flamingos here in Florida. I have yet to see a flamingo.
really, huh?
Yeah, are there here in Florida? I don't think so. I think I just saw them at the zoo. That's it. Not like flying free.
Yeah, we have flamingos at the zoo.
But people have them on their lawns.
Oh
Huh?
yeah, well, yeah, yeah. I've seen those. Yeah, I've seen those. I've seen those. But we have. So I'm here at the music store, and there was that time
Hmm.
where I told Ryan, I was like, we're so consumed with television and movies and And of course, back then we had direct TV. We didn't have streaming like we did.
Mhm.
And I was like, let's just gather. We're doing a fast. We're doing a fast
Mhm.
of television, of social media, of everything. And we packed everything up other than our phones. Ryan and I had phones. The boys were too young to have phones. And we brought them over here to the shop. There's a door right here next to me that I'm pointing to that you can't see.
Mhm.
And we put them all in there. And it was such, I mean, the game consoles, like all the Nintendos, the Xbox, everything. Um, and for months, I think maybe 6 months, we didn't touch them. And the temperature of our home,
Wow.
emotional temperature of our home, just deflated. It was the most peaceful,
Wow.
wonderful season of our life. And to this day now, because we instituted that, our boys now that are adults are able to go, okay, now it's, they can sense it where they're like, oh, it's time to now back away from the television. It's time for me just to read.
Mhm.
It's time for me to go outside. It's time for me to go away from, put my phone down, because we showed them this is what life is like without this. Isn't it so much more
Wow.
peaceful versus look how tense we are when all the screens are going off, when all the sensory things are going off at the same time, how much more peaceful you feel without that stuff. And since they were able to get a taste of
Yeah.
that, not that they were overstimulated as a kid, both of my boys are
Mhm.
older Gen Z versus the younger Gen Z.
Mhm.
So they grew up with
Right.
bicycles and playgrounds. They were at that time because they were raised by a Gen X parent. So they were able to experience
Right.
a lot of the same things that I experienced because I wanted them to. But again, that goes with the parent.
Mhm.
They have the control. They like you just said, like
Mhm.
we as adults have that control, you know?
Oh yes. And by you doing that, they became aware of what a world is like with it and what a world is like without it. And like it doesn't diminish how much fun they have without it.
Right.
Like they get to be more creative. And I know your kids are creative, right?
Yeah.
They come from creative parents,
Yes.
and it's just the world is enhanced, and if it's taken away from you, it doesn't affect you. Like
Hmm.
they know what it's like without it. But there are so many kids, it's so sad. I've seen videos of, I don't know if you've seen videos of babies without their tablet, and like they're sleeping and they're swiping. I don't know if you've seen that. I saw that
No.
and like it broke my heart. Like the baby, I wish I can do the gesture, but like the baby is sleeping and he's doing like the hand gesture like of swiping up, swiping up. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." It's like, you know what that is? That's the tablet, the phone is their babysitter.
Hmm.
And
That.
it's heartbreaking, and there's an entire generation that is growing up with that and not connecting, not being in the real world.
Yeah.
And it really like breaks my heart.
Yeah. I,
And it's sad because sometimes you see parents, they don't do screen time on kids, right? And then other people say, "Oh, that's harsh. Why don't you just give them the tablet?" Like, and now those parents are like, "I'm not bad. This is for them. This is for their good," you
Yes.
know?
Yeah. I watched a video not too long ago. Excuse me. And then there was like a psychologist or something like that, and he was talking about that there is actual brain damage that happens from too much screen time. Like it
Oh my gosh,
relaxes
yes.
the ocular cavity, like the muscles behind the eyes too much, and so the
Yes.
eye reflexes, like, and then your motor reflexes become softer. And I'll have to
Oh my
find it. I'll
gosh.
share it with you. It is so sad. He was like, you don't understand the actual brain damage because the your mind isn't meant to be stimulated that fast. But then
Yes.
I watched another video that said that, and it's so funny that we're on this subject of all things that we're talking about,
I know.
but it's
I
still
know.
interesting. I love it. But there
Me
was,
too. Me too. Again, like I don't have kids, but I have nieces and nephews, so
we're
I
around them
love
all the time
hearing
now.
about this and exactly and listening about this because I want them to not have to deal with that.
Exactly. Yes. And they said that syndrome, I can't remember, I think they call it now a swipe syndrome, where you, because
Wow.
of the chemicals that are released because of the algorithm, you'll see something really funny, and then you'll see something really sad, and then you'll see something that's angering. So your emotions are going like this. They're programming your emotions to go like this.
Oh
So
my
it's
gosh.
turning into a form of schizophrenia, where in bipolarism,
What?
because every time you see something scary on you get chemicals released, and then the next thing you see is something funny, so a different
Right.
chemical is released, and then something next is sad, so a different chemical is released, and then you're doing that over and over again. So
Wow.
your brain doesn't understand. It just says, oh, this is just how we react naturally. This is how we react naturally. So whenever you're out in regular conversation, then
Wow.
your brain is like, I don't know how to react to this. And it turns into a kind of bipolarism, where one minute
Wow.
you swing up really high and one minute you swing really low. Isn't that crazy? I just,
It's so crazy.
yeah, you'll notice it now when you're
It's
swiping.
mind blowing because I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. You'll notice it
Go
now,
ahead.
how you'll notice it, how the algorithm goes. You'll see something really funny, and the next thing you'll watch is something really upsetting and sad, or something that angers you, like the news or something like that. And then right after that, it'll be a bunny
Hmm.
eating carrots, and then the next minute it'll be,
Yeah.
it'll be like a baby, and then the next minute it'll be something from CNN, and then the next minute it'll be, and it's almost like a pattern, like it wants you to go from all these different
Hmm.
emotions, so your emotions will be so heightened. So as an adult, you've lived without your phone, you know how to
Wow.
put down your
It's
phone, but
insane.
as a child, you don't know how to cope with that. And so it becomes actually a part of the blueprint of your anatomy, and
Hmm.
that's all you know how to do. Imagine a child that's never not been on a tablet,
Right.
you know? That's
Wow. Yes. For them, that's what's going to be normal. That's normalcy for them. And
yeah,
it's just scary because that's our future generations,
exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
And it's so concerning because if parents are not doing anything about it, like who will?
Right.
Who will?
Yeah. And you said that, I know people are saying, but she doesn't have kids. I do, but you are living in the world where our kids are going to be. You're going to have to go to the grocery store with these people. You're going to have to go and your family and your nieces and nephews are going to have to go to school with people like this. So it is a world issue. It's
Mhm.
not a children or no children issue. It is, I have to now interact with these people out in
Mhm.
society, and if they can't cope with just normal everyday conversation or normal upsets that are going to happen because the life sucks,
Yeah.
then
Mhm.
I'm going to have to now respond to that. And I have the coping mechanisms because I wasn't raised that way. But this
Mhm.
person now that I'm interacting
Mhm.
with does not have the coping mechanisms because they were raised with a screen in front of their face 24/7.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want anybody
Yes.
to say, oh, well, Kirsty doesn't have kids. Well, it doesn't matter. She lives in this world where
Mhm.
your kids are going to grow up,
Exactly.
and her nieces and nephews are affected by
Exactly.
that, and you're affected by that. Your mother's affected by that. Your family's affected by that. The world is affected by that. We're watching it every single day. Every
Yep.
single day. It's, it's just,
Exactly. Exactly.
and
And
we
it's
should all be concerned.
it's life. And we should. And we should. And we should. And that's when us that we know like the patterns and what's going on because it's like I said, it's a different generation. Like um with our grandparents or aunts and uncles, they were in a different generation, but the technology aspect wasn't really there, so we kind of were able to blend a little bit more,
Hmm.
you know
Yeah.
and the technology didn't really change the way we see things or our psyche you know
Right.
so it's completely different.
Hmm.
So by being aware of that, we know more how to navigate, as you said, like how to navigate people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. All right. Swinging the pendulum the other way.
You
Now, those,
pause for a bit. I'm sorry.
oh, it's okay. You're good.
Yes.
Okay. So, swinging the pendulum the other way. Kirsy lives in Florida. I live in Texas. So, we are superpowers in the United States.
Yes.
we, we live in two.
Yes.
We live in two
Texas and
superpowers.
Florida.
So, what is life really like over there compared to what you've seen on social media and what the media has portrayed Florida and what's going on over there?
Well, it's so funny you asked me that because I lived in New York for most of my life. I lived in New
Right.
York from the age of 12 until I came here to Florida in 2014. So I'll start with how I used to think about Florida when I lived in New York, right? And that is like, oh, people there are very close-minded. Because New York is a bubble.
Mhm.
New York
Yeah.
is a bubble.
Yeah.
And you think, like there's nothing after the Hudson River, it's just New York. um but anyways, when my family moved here, like I didn't like Florida, so I would just experience Florida for a week, 2 weeks, and then go back to
Hmm.
New York. But I never really had that, you know, lived in experience of Florida. I just used to think like, it's too many close-minded people there, and it's too hot. It's like not for me. I like the culture. I like New York. I like this, which I still do, and I miss that.
Right. Right.
I miss my theater. I miss my museums. But when I moved to Florida in 2014, and then I started experiencing Florida and experiencing the people, I'm like, you know, all those like perception, because also it came from television. Talk about being influenced, right? The Florida man.
Hmm. Yeah.
We all know the Florida man,
Yeah.
right? Um, like all those things started like chiseling away. I'm like, wait a minute, there's
Mhm.
the Florida that I was taught is not the Florida I'm experiencing, you know?
Yeah.
And it just started growing on me even more. And to the point that I don't want to live anywhere else. Like I love it here.
Nice.
And
Nice.
Florida gets a lot of bad rap, but a lot of people forget that Florida is made up is made up of so many people from so many places.
Hmm.
It's now difficult to meet a native Floridian because everybody's from somewhere else.
Wow. I never thought of it like that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like that in Texas.
Everybody that I've met, they're from Texas,
Yes, they're Texans.
right?
Mm-mm. Yeah, yeah. Now,
They're
now,
Texans.
yeah,
I
now
need to
it's not like that.
experience Texas one day.
You do. You would love it. Everybody loves Texas. Once they get there, they're like, I don't want to leave. You know?
You don't want to leave. But now, like you're saying, like after COVID, you guys are getting an influx of people from all over the country, right?
Yes. Yes, we are from California, especially. I mean, right here, even in our own little town,
Hmm.
before COVID, we were about right at 3,000. And now, after COVID, we've grown about 1,500 people just in our town, just in this town alone.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're at
That
four
is
right now.
huge. And same here, like
It's crazy.
same here, like from since COVID, just an influx of people from up north started moving here. And these were probably the same people that would bash Florida, and now they came to seek shelter after all the craziness that was happening up north, which, by the way, is still happening. And I know you're experiencing a lot of things going on, like at the borders over there, and in New York with all the migrants being sent over there. It's just a different place, and a lot of people are escaping it.
Yeah.
and finding refuge here.
Yeah. In South Texas, so I live northeast Texas, so it's more country. So it's like lots of
Mhm.
farmland, lots of pastures, and we're wooded. It's very wooded area. So, and a lot of the
Mm.
border trauma and crisis that's happening right now is 12 hours south of me. So it'll take a while for
Yeah,
that kind of stuff to really
it'll
impact
take a while.
in this region. But they're still Texans, and we still
Yeah, 'cause
hate.
Texas is so huge.
Yes, it is. I mean, it takes from where I'm at, we call it deep in the heart of Texas, which is funny that I'm wearing a little heart here.
Mhm.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Oh, that song.
Yes.
Deep in the heart of Texas,
One, two,
right?
three, four. You have to clap 4 times. One, two, three, four. Um, but
Ah.
you always have to. So we have, I'm up there at the heart of Texas, the big, bucket part of Texas. And at the tip of Texas
Mhm.
is where obviously our border is, which also goes up to most of the panhandle to
Mhm.
El Paso. That's how far Mexico reaches to Texas, how much Texas border is Mexico. And, you know, we have such culture
Mhm.
differences. Once you passed Austin, the cultural differences are huge. And of course, Austin is a hot mess. Dallas is now
Oh,
becoming that way. Houston is extremely
wow.
just off the chain liberal. They've really, I mean, just crazy stuff is happening. But you leave even Texans are in their
Wow.
own little bubbles where they think, oh, that's just the way the rest of Texas is. But
Oh, sorry. My Alexa is sending me a reminder to take my vitamins. I'm so sorry.
you're good. I love it. That's that's good. That's good. That's a good thing. We need
Okay,
to
go
take
ahead.
take your vitamins, Kirsy. Take your vitamins. So, but it's like people in those areas forget that the rest of Texas doesn't think like them. Like we have these little pockets, little
Right.
bubbles, Dallas, Austin, and Houston, and somewhat San Antonio. San Antonio, I think, is pretty much split, but we have these little pockets, and they forget until they travel into the center of Texas that the rest of us just want to live normal lives.
Mhm.
The rest of us get along. The rest of us are enjoying
Exactly.
life. We're not stressed out because we're surrounded by concrete and buildings all day. We have pasture, we have farms, we have gardens,
Mhm.
we have PTAs, and we're just living life. But yeah, when you get to the border, my parents lived there. As you know, they lived in Laredo, right there on the border. They lived on exit
Mhm.
4
Yeah.
to before you get to Mexico.
Wow.
And like literally on my parents' balcony, you can look out and see Mexico. You can literally see Mexico from my parents' balcony at the
Wow.
apartment complex. They were that close. And it's just a huge culture difference. But the Mexicans that have lived in Texas since it was Mexico, the generations of
Mhm.
Texicans, we call them. They're the people who are both
Texicans.
that they're both. They don't want this either. They're upset because
Right.
they have family who are waiting for citizenship there, and they don't want their hard work to be destroyed because they're being ignored,
Mhm.
and they want their family to come over
Exactly.
and then but do it the right way. And so it's just a big
And
crazy world.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like it's not that a lot of people don't want others to come here,
Right.
but it's more about doing it right,
Hmm.
and not skipping the line of those that have been waiting years and years, to be here legally, to be part of this country legally.
Hmm.
Because right now, this influx is not a migration issue. It feels more like an invasion,
Hmm.
you know? And it's overwhelming, and I'm just, as I see videos from New York, I'm like, wow, that's not the New York I left.
Mm. That's
And
sad.
seeing how the crime has gone up, and it is very sad. And it's not that people don't want, because this is a country of immigrants, but doing it the right way. I mean, I'm an immigrant.
Right.
I'm an immigrant.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I have tons of
yeah,
family over.
we want things to be done the right way.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And I was, while you were saying that, I remember even as a kid, the amount of pride and love I had for America because of that. Because we had so many different people from
Yeah.
so many different cultures that were able to come here and
Hmm.
experience all the world basically. We called it, the melting pot. We were the melting pot of the world. I had Listen to me.
Yeah,
I had a phone call. How funny is that? And I'm on do not disturb. Oh my goodness,
that's
Lord,
so funny.
what is going on? Okay, but
We're
but
good.
yeah,
We're
we're good.
good.
We're good. But I think it all plays in together. Like we have this generation that's coming up that is super manipulative or manipulatable. I
Hmm.
guess how you could say they could
Hmm.
easily manipulated.
Yes. They're being manipulated, you
They are.
know?
But I think it's a way for them to be able to be easily controlled. And then you have this influx, like you said, it's more of an
Hmm.
invasion than just someone who's wanting a better life. It's an invasion. There's different groups that are coming through. And it's sad that the people who want a better life are
Hmm.
getting mixed in with the people who have malicious intent. And now we have a nation
Hmm.
who is divided and we can't tell the difference. And you have this younger generation
Hmm.
who is all they hear and all they know is what the screen in front of them is telling, and they don't have any really
Hmm.
good skills to be able to discern and divide the truth. But then you have silence from the church.
Hmm.
Does your church talk about it,
Yeah.
or anything like that?
When it comes to this political in that sense, no,
Yeah,
no, they don't talk about it. And we have to talk about it,
for sure.
you know? It's something that cannot be swept under the rug.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And as Americans, we have to be prepared
Hmm.
and know that what's coming, because something's coming. And we keep saying this in our chat, in our group chat, like some we have to prepare because something is coming, because we have never seen anything like this before,
Mm-mm.
anything like this. And the people that are coming through those borders, they have no loyalty to this country. They have no attachment.
Mm-mm.
Um, and we have to prepare our minds, our hearts, because otherwise it's just gonna hit us out of nowhere.
Yes, it really is. It really is. I see that all the time. I was telling a friend just the other day, and I've been using this terminology because I'm a sci-fi nerd. I love sci-fi. And I said it's like a form of terraforming. And I said that in a post that I made on Facebook. It's like the enemy is cultivating this world and seeding this world, just like you seed a garden. You prepare the bed, you have to
Hmm.
get it just right for
Hmm.
whatever you're doing. You have to get the soil just right in order for what seed you're putting into the ground so that it'll survive. And the enemy is doing just that. He is setting up this whole entire world
Hmm.
for the Antichrist. He is setting everything up. And I know that took a swing. You're like, whoa, we
Hmm.
went migration to Antichrist. I'm like, yes, but it all goes together. Everything fits together in a puzzle of complete chaos that we're watching right now. It's insane. That's the
And
world.
that's such a good picture you gave about how he is sitting.
Yeah. Hmm.
He's placing those seeds, of division, of 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 flooding people, because what he does is like he plants seeds and then distracts you in some other area, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and that's how he sneaks in.
Hmm.
And those of us who are awake to what's happening, when we say something, oh, you Christians, oh, you
Yeah.
conspiracy theorist, you're always making up things, but it's like right in front of your face.
Yes. It's bold.
It's
It's so
like,
bold.
can't you see it?
Yes. Okay. So did you see the stuff in Miami? Have you seen anything about that, of when they said that there were angels or some kind of giant Nephilim type thing at the mall? Did you see that?
Wait, repeat that.
Did you see the footage of the mall in Miami? Of they said that they said like
Oh
all
my
the
gosh, yes.
I don't know what's going on.
Like there
Does
was
anybody
like
talk about
an
that?
alien invasion.
Yeah.
Well, like here, because I'm 3 hours, I'm like 2 hours from Miami. I just saw stuff on the media, on Instagram, of people saying that there were portals opening up and there were like aliens coming out. I'm like, I don't know about that. But at the same time, it's like there's so
I
many
mean, it
weird
could
things going on that you don't know at this point. It could be. I
I,
mean, I don't
I don't know.
know. All I
Um,
know is that there was a video of like, oh, there was a giant like shadowy figure walking outside, but then when you saw the video from a different angle, it was a group of people walking,
oh, so
you know.
it looked like it was tall,
But
but it
yeah,
was,
there's
yeah.
been so many talks about that.
Mm, that's crazy. But the fact that
But mainly I saw them on social media.
yeah, the fact that we're at a stage in our lives now where people are going, "Uh, that might be something," you
Uh,
know, you know.
aliens. What is it, that meme of the guy that's like aliens?
Yes.
But there's so much going on in this world that
Yes.
is so weird that when weird things that pop up like this, we're not ruling it out anymore.
Yes.
You know?
I started writing down things. I don't even know if I still have it. I started to write stuff down, and I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out what the pattern of all this is. Okay, things that have been
Mhm.
happening. Okay, so I literally, like, here's my list. So you can see that I'm actually looking from a list. Okay.
You
So
you gotta send me that list.
I have 30 things on this list, and that from things that have happened over the years, that I need to start adding because I have 30, but it I mean,
Hmm.
aliens is on it. Aliens, they're on it. Um,
Aliens is on it.
it is. And I wrote it August 16th of 2023. So just like 6, 7 months ago. And that every once in a while I read it and I'm like,
Wasn't it like during the pandemic and stuff? Like people were like, "What's on your bingo card next? Aliens?" You know?
yes, exactly. What is it that I didn't expect giant wasp or killer wasps. That one where
Did
who had
didn't we get those too?
anybody? No, no, no. I know,
Oh, that's so funny.
but
But
it's
keep telling me about the list.
okay. So I just went through all the things that have been happening. Like, of course, the Revelation 12 sign happened in 2017, but it's going to happen
Hmm.
again. Then we have the eclipse in 2017, and it's going to happen again. And they're 7 years apart. So that's
Hmm.
crazy. Uh,
Yes.
world lock gra- world
That's
lock.
the one that's happening now, right?
Yeah, in just a few weeks. Yeah, yeah. Did you hear? Okay,
Mm.
so so where it
Oh,
crosses over, so the moon is going to cross over the United States like
yes.
this. Okay, and like right in the apex, in the center of it, is a little town that is a national park that is Giants Valley. It's called Giant Valley, and they believe it is a place
Giant what?
like a valley, like a valley, like Giant Valley. Like it was named after giants.
Oh,
The
wow.
so I'm like, it, so are giants on the? Is that the next one? Giants? Is that what we're doing?
I think you should put giant. You should put giant on your list. Because that's another thing I also have seen like videos of like giant figures in the background moving, and then I don't know if you heard about, was it in Colorado, about like a mountain where a giant popped out and then he went in and the guy saw it and he kept talking about it.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
this guy that recorded a giant on a hill and then the guy went missing. So put that in your bingo card.
I know. I know.
It's
Yes.
crazy. And I think I saw a video um, of a guy mentioning how they're finding giant, great white sharks in
Hmm.
Australia,
Hmm.
like bitten in half. Like,
From
aren't they
what?
the apex animal of the ocean? Like, what
Mm-mm.
would bite a shark in half?
I don't need that. I don't need that in my life.
And then
I don't
they're talking about,
want that. Mm-mm. Yeah.
oh my gosh, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's next? What's next? Because somebody was talking about how in the Bible talks, was it in the Bible? Like talk about krakens or something, like giants in the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is too much. But again, I so much is going on. You cannot rule things out nowadays.
You can't. You
But
honestly.
with discernment.
Yes, that's true. We're not supposed to be fearful. I mean, we're joking and y'all,
Right.
we're having fun.
Yes.
But
We're
the
having fun.
yes, but all the things that are happening are going to happen. And I think that the
Mhm.
veil between the supernatural and the natural is thinning. And so
It's
things are bleeding.
thinning.
Yes, things are bleeding through, and people are going to start seeing things that they've never seen before, animals that they haven't seen before that only exist on that side of the realm that don't exist on this side of the realm. And I
Hmm.
think it says, as in the time of Noah. Well, what happened in the time of Noah? The Nephilim walked the earth.
Hmm.
What happened also in the time of Noah? When the Nephilim walked the earth, they manipulated and they distorted the natural way of things. They mated with both beast and man.
Hmm.
They turned things into ungodly,
Hmm.
unnatural things. And the closer we get, yes, there's going to be God called Noah's in the midst of it, just as in the time of Noah. He's going to call people out
Hmm.
to stand out, to be drawn to him. But there's also going to
Hmm.
be a supernatural malice, a malevolent spirit that is going to have and
Hmm.
destroy, to distort. And we see that, like you said at the very beginning, of even attacking our children,
Hmm.
making them think that this is okay, so that when they get older, or not
Hmm.
even then, I think that obviously they're attacking children, they're attacking preschoolers.
Hmm.
That they're going to have the
Hmm.
mindset that if something unnatural approaches you, wanting to do X, Y, and Z, it's okay, and they won't have the
Hmm.
mentality or the discernment to say no, that's not how God designed. No, I don't want to do that. They were like,
Yeah.
I want to be a transformer. I want to be a my little. I want to be a he shim she
Hmm.
her zz. I want to have, I think I'm a
Hmm.
cat. Why not mate with something that looks like a cat that can turn me into a cat, and we can have cat like children. That's the next step. I
Yep.
believe that we're there. We're there.
We're so there. We're so there. They want to desensitize the kids to the point that they can be shifted and molded however they want, you
Hmm.
know? And isn't that what is it? There's a saying like when you hand off your kids to the public system, it's like sending them back to Babylon
Yes.
in a
Yeah.
way.
Yes.
Because all those things, that's where they're being fed. Like kids are not going to school for education, they're going to school for indoctrination.
Yes, they are.
And it should concern every parent.
Hmm. They should. You should, and the adults need to wake up. The adults need to get in their word and truly believe what the Bible has said.
Mhm.
Brian and I were talking about this yesterday, that
Mhm.
I genuinely believe, because I had people erupt an argument on my Facebook page, and I said, I don't
Mhm.
understand why they don't see this. I don't understand why. I mean, I do understand. I'm just trying to get it out of my brain, like wrap my brain
Mhm.
around the fact that I have more friends who truly don't believe in the Bible than do, that they are just traditionalist Christians. They aren't actually full blown Christians who are sold out followers of Christ. They're just doing it because their mama told them to get ready for Sunday, and they
Mhm.
just go, or they just go to mass on Saturday, or they just go to
Mhm.
the temple. They just do what they do because their parents told them to do it. They don't truly believe that David slew Goliath.
Right.
They don't truly believe Daniel was in a lion's den and an angel appeared to him. They don't truly believe that Mary was visited by an angel and she said, "You will bear a son and his name will be Jesus." They don't truly believe that Moses split the Red Sea. They think of it as something like my grandmother told me, that, oh, it's just like Jack and the Beanstalk or Cinderella. It's not real. I mean, she found out that it was real on her deathbed, but too many people, because they have that mindset, aren't going to have the discernment to
Mhm.
know when to say, no, that is not of God, and when to say, okay, well, I mean, this is just the evolution of the world. Well, no, we don't accept things just because this is just the way humanity is going to evolve into the next form of humanity. We don't just accept
Mhm.
things. We're children of God.
Exactly.
We have discernment and we know how God set things up. There is one man, one woman. They they have children.
Mhm.
And if we cut that
That's
off,
it.
then there's nothing else for people to procreate. There's nowhere else for them to go but a manipulation of that, you know? Oh,
Right.
that's a soapbox for
And
me,
that's
man.
so true. And that's so true. And I love when you're on your soapbox. I love it because it's true. And this is why I bonded with you because you speak truth. Sin pelo en la lengua, which is a saying in Spanish, which is without a hair on your tongue. Spanish sayings are the weirdest, but it means
I like
that
that.
you have no filter in that sense, in a good way, which we need bold Christians speaking truth.
Hmm. Yes.
And I thank you, girl, for that.
Yeah. I'm thankful to have friends that will listen to me and go, you know what? You're right. I see it too.
Girl, I learned so much from you. I learned
Oh,
so
thank
much
you.
from you.
Thank
And
you.
quickly, like, can we just acknowledge, like, there's a joke about how one of the miracles Christians, Jesus did was, you know, have 12 friends after the age of 30.
Yes.
And like, I'm so thankful, like, our warrior sister group, like how we developed such a wonderful and powerful bond, which it doesn't happen anymore,
Right. I
you
know.
know?
It does not. It doesn't happen anymore. And people need friends. You need to be able to share your thoughts and your concerns and your
Yeah.
worries with people. One, just so you can have even some sound reason. So if you feel scared or alone, you can say, okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going through this. What do you think? And then as a believer, hopefully they are a believer, they can say, oh, maybe you need to slow down
Mm-hmm.
with that. Or no, you're right on track because I've been feeling that in my spirit too. It's so important. So I'm so thankful that I have you. It's great.
Yeah.
I love talking to you.
Same. And this is like, I love talking to you too. And um, what was I gonna say? Like Instagram and all these social media, they can be so overwhelming and in a lot of ways so negative, but so much good can come out of it. you
Mhm.
know like this connection, for example, or sharing the word of God and speaking life in dark places, and uh, I'm just so thankful that we have this medium,
Hmm.
this technology, because also we were talking about how technology can be so overwhelming for kids and for the new generation, and how it can disconnect, but it can also unite and
Yes,
bring people together. So I also want to highlight that.
yes, it is. It has been a amazing to watch tool that has opened so many doors of connection. The fact, like, I never thought as a
Hmm.
kid that I would be talking to somebody face to face in Florida, in a real time having this conversation.
Right.
Never in my wildest dreams. That's science fiction, from our generation, but
Right.
God, like you said, God used what the enemy is using for evil, God is using for good. That we can do this and share the
Yes, he
gospel
is.
and share his truth and share his love. And it's so important. It's so important. People, y'all need to wake up and get you some good friends, because the devil is on the prowl and he's looking for anybody who's impressionable. So if you don't have a good circle of good friends, you need to get it,
Yep.
like, right now.
Seriously, good people that are gonna keep you accountable, right? Because it's just so tough out there, and you don't want yes people. You want people that are gonna, you know, that are gonna bring up the word of God, encourage you with the word of God, not things of the world. That are gonna hold you accountable, um, and guide you to the in the right direction. It's just so important, whether that be people in real life or people online. You know, our group is based on where are we, all of us, like
Gosh.
Pittsburgh, right? Miss
Hmm.
Doris.
Hmm. Yeah.
Texas,
Yes. New
South
York.
Carolina,
Yeah.
Florida,
Yeah.
uh, Alabama, New York.
Yeah.
Where's Laura right now?
Laura is in Virginia.
In
She's,
Virginia. So like
yeah.
we're all over Texas.
Hmm. Yeah. We're all over.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where your people are. Your tribe is it's dispersed everywhere, but God will bring it together, and He will use this form to do so.
Yes. He will. He will. And you don't have to be alone. And even though we talked about some scary things and some heavy things with
Hmm.
all the stuff that's happening, we know that God's on the throne. We know that our hope is in him. I'm not worried or concerned.
Yes.
It's wild to watch and sit back and watch. I think of the children of
Yes.
Israel in the land of Goshen, just watching the last, 7 or 6 plagues happen, and just going, I'm glad we're in Goshen,
Mhm.
because the first the first 3 were hard, so I
Yes.
can't imagine sitting through the rest of them. I can't imagine. God will protect you. God is just that good. He wants us to wake up. He wants us to have discernment, and he wants us to know that there is a
Hmm.
clear, crystal clear line
Hmm.
that is drawn, that is God and
Hmm.
the enemy, and we have to choose. We can't have our
Yeah.
leg in both camps. We can't
Yeah.
have our leg in both camps.
No, it's
Mm-mm.
not gray. The area is not gray. It's black. It's black and white, and you have to choose your side and your people.
Yeah, and surround yourself with good people. Find a church if you can. If not, find a good pastor who's teaching solid word online, and get a part of a chat group that talks about it. And y'all can meet weekly to talk about it. Y'all can
Hmm.
FaceTime, you can Zoom meetings. There's no excuse to not find people of
Hmm.
like mind and like heart, because we found a way. We Marco Polo. We have an Instagram chat. We do this. We call each other. We text each other. We stay connected so that we can have our foot in God's camp
Yes.
with like minded people. It is so important. It is so important.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And it's so comforting because I don't know how I would have been if it had not been for those people that were like minded, that I was able to connect with through this crazy season we all went through. You know, it can be overwhelming, and not being able to express what's happening to people. Let's say like those that their eyes weren't open. It was so hard to relate. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it
Yeah.
was so hard to be able to say something and not get bashed.
Yes.
So I think that's one of the reasons our group even grew stronger, because we were able to see, hey, did you guys see this? Oh, look at this, look at that. And we were able to share our concerns freely without being judged.
Yes. Yes. And that is so important. That is so important. So if you don't have a group,
Hmm. So,
message us. We would love to friend you. We would love to get you in on conversations and support you and lift you up during this time because
oh,
we know what it's
Angela, you're cutting off.
like. Oh, I cut off for her. You could probably hear me on my end.
Repeat that.
It's like,
Repeat.
okay, if you,
Yeah,
if,
like it got staticky. It
oh,
keeps
okay.
happening on and off. I don't know why, but
Oh, I think it's fine on my end. If
repeat it
it's,
again.
yes. So if you need a place, if you need friends, we're here. We're here to support you, to love you, to comfort you, to help you, guide you, lead you in everything. So whenever you're feeling alone or distressed, message one of us. Well, do you have any final words or anything you want to share?
um, just hold on to Jesus. You
Mhm.
know, it's getting crazy. It's gonna continue to get crazy, but God is there through it all, and He will be with us through it all. And as we mentioned before, stick to your people, stick to your tribe. They'll keep you grounded. And yeah, just hold on to Jesus. It's like that roller coaster, like you're about to go on a roller coaster and it's time to drop. Once you hold on to Jesus, that roller coaster is gonna be fine.
Yes, it is. It is because he's in control of that roller coaster. He's in control,
He
100%.
is.
Yeah.
He is in control, and he doesn't lead us blindly.
Hmm.
You know, he has guided us. He shared in his prophecies, so we won't go into this not knowing. Like we know, and we know the signs. He
Exactly.
gave us the signs to look for.
Yes, he did. Yes,
So we just
we just have
to
to
hold
trust.
on to that, and we should be good.
Yes, yes, exactly. I know we will. I know we will, and I know. Um, think obviously his will is going to be done on earth as it is in heaven, and that's a good thing. That's a
Hmm.
really, really, really good thing. You know.
Yes,
Yes.
just knowing that his perfect will is gonna be done, and
Mhm.
that's all we need to know.
Yes. 100%. 100%. Well, I won't leave. I won't let you stay too long because I know you got stuff to do, and Ryan's over next door getting ready to record like guitar music, and it's going to be really, really
Oh,
loud. It's going to be really, really loud. So
that's awesome.
yeah, I think he's done setting up. So we're trading time spots of recording so he can record
Oh,
when I record.
got it.
You know what I'm saying? Before the store
That
opens.
is
But
so nice.
yeah, I know. It's so much fun. But I'm so glad
Oh,
you got to come on. We're gonna have to catch up and do more of this because this was too much fun.
yes,
This was too much fun. This is the first of many. You're gonna see
it
Kirsty
was
again.
so much fun. Go
I,
ahead.
I said you're gonna see Kirsty again, everybody. So
Aw, aw, I'm excited. I was like a little nervous this morning, but I'm like, I'm with Angela. I'm in good hands. I'm in good hands.
yeah. Yeah.
I love you, girl, and thank
Love
you
you
so much
too.
for
You're
having me.
welcome.
It's
Of
been an
course.
honor. Hopefully we won't have this technical issue, and it'll be more like a flowing, with
Yes.
all this staticky stuff.
Oh my gosh, I know.
But hey,
It's crazy.
that's technology.
It
What are you
is.
gonna do?
It is for sure. That's
It
okay.
happens. But
Yes.
I love you, girl.
Love you too. Have a blessed week.
You too. Bye, Angela.
Bye.